Good morning. This is Julian with United Country Lifestyle Properties of Maine, and today I have the pleasure of showing you a new listing of ours, 210 acres in Cooper, Maine. This property is on Crowe Road in Cooper, Maine, and it doesn't have an official address yet, so we're listing it as 00 Crowe Road. But if you look right down this driveway, there's fully gravel and it goes through the entire property. We'll show you the whole thing. But you can see the beginning of a view, and that view is stellar. And there are prep building lots set to go with phenomenal areas of this view. And so if you follow me down the driveway, right now we're sitting on the property line. It's at the end of Crowe Road. Your closest neighbor is actually down this little alcove here to my right. And it's a small little cabin that's barely used. And then this leads down to 210 acres of beautiful rural Maine. So follow me down and we'll first check out the view right at the end of this driveway and then show the lots that are kind of prepped and set to build. And then we'll bring you down to each property line. Follow me. Here we are sitting at the second area of a great view. This one's a little bit wider. Right now we have some of these smaller trees that are still pretty young, but you can't really see. Now I can see real well, but right here you can see some debris from previous clearing, and then we've just had overgrowth brush. But if you chop down these smaller trees right here, you'd have a phenomenal spot to build a house with all that view right there. And then you could also do some more clearing in and around that tree line towards the edge if you wanted a full big view, or you could just leave it as it is and get, traditional Maine view with plenty of trees and coloration in this fall season. But if you follow me down through here, we'll show you one last clearing in terms of an area of the wood that's been cleared for another building spot. And then we're actually going to backtrack and head on down to another trail that leads us to a property line down in the woods. So right now we're sitting at a phenomenal spot to look at this second view. You can see how much wider it is. Now far into the mountains, you can see a little rain cloud starting to come in. But on a day that's 100% clear, like the skies directly above me, you've got beautiful blue skies covering a phenomenal fall ocean of colors. And then right now I'm standing in a cleared building lot. There's debris, so you'd have to clear this out to build on it. But this is a pretty large section right here. You could build a relatively large house right here with this view to look at every single morning. We are about 3/4 of the way through the property, and this is where the gravel road ends. It ends right there at that tree line, and then everything into here is the final clearing. This would be a good spot if you wanted to use the property for a hunting camp. Now you can build a hunting camp anywhere in there, but in terms of being directly in the woods, this would be a pretty good spot to build something. And then everything beyond me here is just untouched, undeveloped, pure Maine woods. And it goes in for about another 100 yards, give or take, probably a bit more than that, and just goes right into just dense woods, undeveloped, and right now in the fall, phenomenal colors. But if you follow me, we're gonna walk all the way back down the gravel road and walk down another trail that leads to that property line. And then from there, we'll look at the view one more time. We We are just off the gravel driveway from the second view we showed you with the building lot. And just off of it goes down another path into where the property line is. We've got a little bit of that extra view above the tree lines, and as we get in here, the view will go and we'll be in more of a dense woods area, which leads right to the property line. We have the property line mapped off, or taped off rather, with orange tape. So for showings, once you come down this section, you'll be able to see the property line real well. We're right here about to head into the final trail towards the property line, but I did want to stop and show you yet again another cleared section for building. Right here, it's all cleared. We've just got debris. You tear that out and you can put a little cabin here, hunting spot at the bottom of the hill, shielded from any breeze. When we were up on the gravel spot, we had a bit of breeze coming our way, which is nice in case there's any bugs, which we don't hear. And then right here is completely surrounded by trees, blocking wind, and still no bugs. But let's check out this final trail, show you the property line, and then we'll head on out. We have followed the trail right down, and as you can see, here's our orange tape marking the property line. And this trail actually cuts into right about the exact halfway point of the rectangle shaped lot. So 100 acres to my right is part of the property, and 100 acres to my left is also part of the property. We're just about smack dab right in the middle at the edge of the property line. But follow me right back up this trail, and we'll point out a couple of special features about the property, and then that will be pretty much it for the tour. Thank you for joining me on this tour of what is currently 00 Crowe Road here in Cooper, Maine. The property, again, has 210 acres. It's a rectangular shaped lot, and so the road comes right in from my right, and you've got a ton of acreage that way, and where I'm standing right now, even more to my left. Gravel driveway through just about all of it. 3/4 of the lot has got a phenomenal gravel, or at some points it gets more of a dirt road, making access incredibly easy. A ton of cleared locations, great for building, a few with unbelievable views, like this one right behind me, and then a couple in more of a private, secluded spot encircled by trees if you want to do a hunting cabin, something like that. The price on this property is $145,000, and the taxes on the property are just under $1,000. And again, this spot's in tree growth. And so that can also be negotiated with the town depending on how much of the acreage you want inside of tree growth. If you only plan on building on around 10 to 20 acres of the property, you could potentially put everything else in tree growth and that tax would decrease. But in terms of location, we're in Cooper, Maine. One of the big benefits of the property is the fact that it's so private. And so this isn't a spot that's in town. This is a spot that if you want to come to for a weekend and just hunt, right now we're in duck season, bird season. This is a phenomenal place for hunting. This spot is absolutely full of wildlife. It's another great spot if you want to do a very private house. Maybe you live in the city throughout the year and you want a summer home on 210 acres that is completely yours. You will not hear a thing out here. Not a footstep, not a human, not a plane, not a car. It's as private as it gets. But if you do want to have some access to town, we've got Machias, which is about 29 miles from the very front of this road. And there's also Calais, which is right around 20 miles. The property itself is super close to the border. Calais itself is directly on the border, which would mean you could have pretty good access right over the border into Canada if you want to do a weekend trip. A favorite is Campobello Island, and there's full of hotels. I put it right in the property description as well. Full of hotels, beautiful views, and that's right about an hour away from the property. So if you're here all season and then you want to do a weekend trip to Campobello, it's close enough, but again, the benefit of this is how private it is. But thank you so much for joining me on this tour of 00 Crowe Road. Feel free to show the property without notice. Call me with any questions. This has been Julian with United Country Lifestyle Properties of Maine. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and put post notifications on, and you'll get notified as soon as Maine real estate hits the market. Thanks.